Today, we expect to see another nationwide day of action against the Trump administration. The grassroots 5051 movement has hundreds of events planned across the country, an effort to push back against what the movement calls executive overreach. Now, the name 5051 means 50 protests, 50 states, one movement. There will be rallies, nature cleanups, and food drives as well. Today's protests build on the momentum of the hands-off protests from 2 weeks ago. That was the largest single-day nationwide protest against Trump's second term so far. More, please.
More, please.
More, please. So, I love folks, Simone, just saying, okay, the political class, they ain't working for us. The Supreme Court, all the federal courts are a thin line, not a strong line of defense. We the people is where all this is going to matter, I think.
The people have always had the power.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't feel that way, but the people have always had the power. The Washington Post, I read all the things Eric Wimple writes. And he wrote this on Friday. You heard the resistance was dead. You've been reading too much. Outside of the vibes realm, however, there's an outbreak of data that appends the picture of a limp Trump resistance. In a March 19 analysis in Waging Nonviolence, Erica Chenoweth, Jeremy Pressman, and Soha Hammam reported that this movement is alive and generating heat. In February, for example, the group counted more than 2,085 protests supporting federal workers, LGBTQ+ rights, Palestinian self-determination, etc., versus 937 in February 2017. I do think that the protests matter.
Right.
They are giving people an opportunity to gather, and outrage is, I mean, if this week is any example, the outrage that people expressed about the willful lawlessness and ignoring of the Supreme Court and the orders to facilitate the return of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, Senator Van Hollen going down to El Salvador,
putting a face
the press
on all
conferences.
of that, right.
Yes, it made a difference. That's how he got a meeting. But let's remind people what you've been saying about what Donald Trump and the Trump administration would love to happen with these protests.
That's it. I mean, look, the reality of it is, I love the protests. I love the fact people hit the streets, but be careful, be smart, because there are forces that want to use those to angle towards giving Trump the green light to invoke the Insurrection Act, which will then shut down, give him the ability to shut down a lot of stuff, including things like, I don't know, elections
and
midterms, the gathering, further gathering of folks on the street. I just be mindful of that and smart about that. I know Reverend Sharpton, who has been involved in a number of these protests, and other groups out there have been putting that warning in the mix as well, which is why I think they've been playing very cleanly so far with no real problems on the streets. But it is the reality, because, look, they don't want you to protest. They don't want you to be involved.
When you got even David Brooks at the New York Times saying what's happening is not normal, America needs an uprising that is not normal.